So, Ihab El Yaman, you founded MEMOb Plus, a pioneering data intelligence company in the MENA region. Can you walk us through your journey that led to its creation?
Yeah, sure. First time, Mohammed. So the journey was long. It was actually tough, but like joyful. I started my career in digital, in marketing, advertising, all of that, 2009. I started with a degree in graphic design, and that was my main major. And at that time in my hometown, whoever has actually finished at that time the courses of like Photoshop at that time was like amazing, you know, they changed the images and stuff. They were calling themselves designers. They used to do logos and whatever, and I was like, oh no, you know, like I cannot. Like, it's not what I wanted to do, right? So from there, I decided, you know what, if someone wants to come to you, and that was the first thoughts of what I wanted to do, is come to me. I'm a one-stop shop, right? So I went and I started studying, like C++, Java. So the whole the context of like the online HTML business of like building websites. So at that time I started myself, and then I was so happy by utilizing Flash, which is the first animation or like animation software that was by Adobe at that time, Flash 9, Flash 7, and I was so happy with it. I used to, you know, go and code things that they move, jump, you know, go outside the box. And at that time I did my CV, and that CV was actually a complete Flash CV. I was called for an interview for a company in Beirut. It was an international company. They used to work for international brands in France, in UK, in US, and for the MENA market. And at that time, my job was a rich media designer, where I receive a design or like create a design on how to engage people online in small banners. And that was my access to understanding, there is a banner online, and that's something that the marketeers do. They put ads on websites. It's amazing, you know, like it's fascinating. And then I used to look into how many clicks, you know, who has clicked there, how many engagements we got. So it's interesting for me. It's an interesting world. I stayed there for like three years and a half. And then after that one, I started, because I used to follow the market a lot. So I started hearing about HTML5, and I started like hearing about Adobe wants to stop Flash and pose it, and it's so heavy online, and it's like slowing down the websites. I was like, oh, that's a new journey again. So I ended up going and studying HTML5 and started utilizing HTML5 animation, and it's all about the advertising, the marketing. And at that time, I got an opportunity to move to Dubai in 2012 with a company as well. It was a publishing house. They had their own websites, and they were selling the normal banners, you know, the normal ad placements.
The standard ones.
The standard ones. And they wanted to do something really new, something really interesting for people, to get brands, you know, to buy from them or to sponsor. So I took the decision. I ended my career in Lebanon, and then I moved to Dubai in 2012. And I came here as a rich media specialist, where I used to come up with ideas. For example, I remember at that time we had this Boss advertising that they launched a new perfume, and in the commercial, the actor, he moves the bottle upside down, and then when the video is playing, and when the bottle comes and moves upside down, the whole city in the ad flips upside down. So I flipped the whole website completely. And that was one of an award-winning ads that we've got from engagement perspective. And it was something like really interesting for the management, and we started doing a lot of these. I've worked with a lot of different brands in the market, and it was an interesting era. That was from my rich media specialist engagement, attention span, you know, for advertisements and getting the brand out in front of people.
So that allowed you to move from the creative part to the technical part for the HTML, and to the basically rich media creation from a mindset of an advertising.
An advertisement
thinking from an advertiser perspective.
Yes, yes.
Nice.
And at that time, you know, the smartphones started, and you see like a lot of apps, and at that time you had like around 100,000, 120,000 apps per month, and it was like booming. At that time we heard about ad networks, and then you started seeing ads left and right in applications, and then the management at that time from my company, the previous company. They thought, you know what, let's get into this business. Let me start seeing if we can get someone here in the MENA market. It was new, and then they've got introduced to a company from UK where they had their own ad networks. So they connected to different publishers, different applications, and they started delivering on the mobile devices like small advertisements. So because I had this kind of, the design, the technical part, the advertising part, and the knowledge on how to engage with people on different devices, like on the desktop or different websites, they said, you know what, get on board with us on this product internally and start discovering what we can do. So at that time I was like so interested, like it's a new if you want, space that I can enter. It's something new, like people are holding it all the time. It's not on the desktop. It's interesting, but at the same time it's challenging, right?
Yeah.
So I started flying to UK, and at that time I got introduced to how ad networks work, what's the DSP, what are the ad placements, and at that time I started using a platform that helps you, drag and drop components on the webs, on the Canva, if you want to call it, and then in like a half an hour you can create an amazing kind of an animation, testing it on different devices, and then the boom of devices started. So I saw the change from the BlackBerry to the new devices today, like how the ad placement changed, how the technology changed.
And I think you've also seen the change from working on the banner on Flash, which is frame by frame, to
yes.
a drag and drop approach.
And just a little bit of simple codes, and then you're up and running, you can start. So at that time I started learning, and I was so eager to learn more and more. I started traveling to London more often, coming back here. We were the first people to speak about engaging ad placements on the mobile, target people. And at that time it was like similar to a spray and pray, right?
Yeah.
So it's like outdoor placements almost. So you get a banner,
you just pray left and right,
push it across all the network. Whoever is interested, they click. If they're not, they don't click, and you go. Or you engage with it, you play with it a little bit, and it's done.
No segmentation, no profiling,
no customer profiles, nothing.
Yeah.
And at that time I started thinking, like, how if we can get information where it can give you who is that person, and then we can custom tailor that message to them. It's going to be beneficial for the person who's seeing the ad and for the brand itself, so you stop losing money. And I don't know the coincidence, or I don't know, the universe had decided, and then the company that we used to work with, they were acquired by a bigger company in US, and they wanted to shut the operations completely in the MENA market. So in a notice period, and we stopped working with them, and myself I started looking into different options and alternatives that we can bring them to the market, but on the upper hand. And at that time I was introduced to a company that used to work with technology that they produce Snapdragon chips on the mobile devices.
Nice.
which is responsible for the antenna connection, the speed, how the behavior of the phone is. And from there I got them in the market. They were very advanced. They had customer profiles. They had the algorithms of how to create taxonomies for people, like to create customer profiles. And from there I started flying to US. I stayed there for like around 6 months, and I kept going, understanding the details of how to collect that data, how to sync it together. And I found this link between the Snapdragon, the device ID, which at that time it was not there. Like not
even recognized.
No one recognized. It was there to deliver the ad, but no one thought, okay, let's connect this to this to that. And it was starting in the US. Like started to think about that in the US. And I found the link between the lat and long, which is the location, with the device ID, with the Snapdragon chip, where you can actually say that person or that device received that ad, I collected that data, and I saw them in that specific location.
Nice.
And that's where MEmob plus idea started for a location intelligence company. We brought it since 2016 with this company, and then we started working with them. And at some point, I saw the potential of growing this in the MENA market. So we started doing our own algorithms internally. We onboarded a team of tech people, and we registered the company as MEmob Plus in 2018, end of 2018. We were 3 people at that time, myself, additional salesperson, and a tech person, and a designer, 4. And we expanded from there. Today, MEmob is 73 people. 73.
Nice.
Yeah, 73 people. We are in Dubai, in Qatar, in Saudi, in Madrid, in Sao Paulo, in India, in Lebanon, and we're looking into expanding in APAC and in the US in the upcoming 2 to 3 years. Thankfully, because we were unique, we always delivered to what we have to deliver to. We were able to get the footfall attribution from an advertisement, from an ad being seen on the mobile, to actually ending up in a location. Everything is hashed, everything is following the, you know, we call something GDPR-compliant, CCPAs, you know, all of these kind of data regulations that we've learned at that time, because we can talk about what had happened at that time. But that was the journey of Ihab at first, different jobs, and then to creating MEmob Plus in the MENA market.
Yeah, and again, one is fascinating, and two, you're not even stopping there, because you've entered as well the whole blockchain technology in terms of bringing it on the table. And I'm aware that you're an MIT certified expert in blockchain technologies. How did this expertise shape even the direction of MEMA Plus to a different level?
From a blockchain perspective, the moment we heard about the blockchain and we've studied it, I've studied it personally. I was introduced a lot of new companies in Madrid that they were actually working on the blockchain, not the blockchain as a cryptocurrency and trading, it's about the technology itself, right? So I was introduced to a company that they have a protocol, it's called Odin, and they've been building it on top of Cosmos, which is like, it's a blockchain network, let's say we call it network, or Oracle, and from there I was like, that's interesting, and it used to start dealing with data, right? Because it triggered the word data. We are into data a lot, and I was like, okay, so maybe later on data will start flowing on the blockchain. And the blockchain main ethics or like the main key features is transparency and traceability. And everything today we do in the MENA market about advertising, or even around the world, is like about tracking impressions, tracking clicks, how data is collected, how secured is that data, who's using that data, right? And blockchain comes in with transparency and traceability. I was like, that's the future. That's what we want to do. That's what I want to enter. And at that time I decided, you know what, I don't want to scratch the edge of scratch the surface of like blockchain. I went to MIT. I did my certifications and blockchain integrations in apps and businesses. So that's what I wanted to focus on, not blockchain as total. It's how I can implement blockchain in businesses, in applications to start using it. And I studied that cryptography, which is cryptocurrencies and how it works and how we change it. So it was a combination of, I go to market today and say, blockchain will help you X brand in supply chain, right? That's how it works, how it will help you, like from production to consumer. And consumer has the right today to go and say, you know what, let me scan that thing and see the whole journey of if that organic lettuce, how did it survive, where they were watering it, how they were watering it, how it was packaged, transferred to me, to mine, so I can verify that I'm paying ×2 the cost of an organic product today.
For a reason.
Because it's actually legit, right? So that's one part of the blockchain, and that's why I wanted to enter there. And there's the first party data, zero party data.
Yeah, because again, speaking of data, of zero party data, which is my next question, is basically, again, unfortunately, the world of blockchain, cryptocurrency, the amount of scams that has happened the past years and years kind of destroyed the right perception of this whole, in my opinion, beautiful actually technology that it's actually going to come. It's there. It's just when it's going to be used by the masses, it's going to take a bit of time.
True.
But in terms from a MEmob aspect, how do you ensure that the ethical collection and the use of data, especially when it comes to emphasizing on zero-party data? Because we know that zero-party data is actually a consumer giving you their insights and giving you their data itself.
True.
How do you actually tackle it from an ethical perspective?
Yeah. So I can separate this question into two, right? So one, which is like the collection of zero-party data and what does it mean? And a second part, which is the data collected from first-party, second-party, and third-party data. Right? From first-party, second-party, and third-party data, so the data that we collect as us as MEmob, or we buy it from a second-party, which is a brand that gives it to us directly, for example, or from third-party, which is the data available across the world from SDKs, websites, cookies, you name it. From there you have the two main, if you want, laws internationally that they've been verified or like been followed. It's GDPR-compliancy and then the CCPA. CCPA is like for the US, for the California rules. And GDPR-compliance is for European and international kind of laws, right?
For now, yeah.
For now. So for now, we're following these from data privacy, collection, storing. So you as a user, you as a customer, you can go to the brand saying, hey, I think that my data is with you. I want you to please remove it. And you submit a form, they remove it for you. And then now there's a lot of rules that says you cannot store the data more than 60 days or 180 days, right? Because of the rules of it. And you have to give the consent. So I can consent to you. I can give you the permission as a brand, as a user to your brand. You can remarket to me as you as a brand because you want to push to me the best offers that I might be interested in because you're studying my pattern of choosing this pants, that t-shirt, buying that, right? And I'm interested in that perfume, so you can push it to me. I consent you, so you can use it. But I can give you another option where I can tell you, you can utilize my data, you can give it to a third party where they can remarket to me for any other brand. So these two main points, we make sure that the customer clearly understands this and they have subscribed to that, like they have clicked on that. And at any point you want to opt out, you have this platforms where you go and you say, this is my data, I want to exit any kind of an advertising identity that you have put on me, please remove it. And that goes directly to an Amazon cloud or to a DMP, at that time data management platforms or CDPs, right? And then it asks to be removed from that and you are secured, you're there. So we follow all of that at that level of first party, second party, and third party. When we're talking about zero party data, it means that I'm Ihab, I enter a platform, you have questions, I start answering them willingly for a reward or like for something in return, right? So willingly I'm giving you that data, you're not collecting it from me because if I click, I'm telling you, you know what, I like coffee, I like black coffee, I don't drink milk, I drink oat milk. That's first party data for the one who's receiving it, right? Which is, for example, MEmob. From that first party data, zero party data perspective, we follow the same procedure. So your data is being saved, you don't want it to be saved or to be shared with anyone else, you have the right to do so. If we tell you, if we want to share this data with someone else, we're gonna come and pay you. And that opens a new horizon of what we are doing as MEmob Plus company on the blockchain and on the zero party data perspective.
Nice. And
that brings a new subject, which is an application.
Gotcha. Which you combine all of those different offerings and solutions into one entity
that actually gives a lot of benefits for the market and for people. I can expand on this now, but if you prefer.
It's actually linked to the other question that I have for you is basically the location intelligence, which seems to be the cornerstone of your offering.
Yeah.
How do mobility insights translate into effective marketing strategies for brands? And that's where I believe what you just mentioned is linked to it, because the person that's benefiting from all these insights is actually the brand itself.
True.
Can you just elaborate more in terms of like
Definitely.
where you guys come in from a location aspect, from a data aspect, and how you're offering everything in a beautiful silver platter to the brands?
Yeah. So look, as customers today, we are actually tracked by this mobile device that we have in our hand, like
whether we like it or not.
Whether you like it or not, you know, like this phone is emitting a lot of signals every single step you move during the day. Whether you turn location off, GPS off, whatever, at the end of the day, when you open your food aggregator, you want to order food, you start pinging for all of the applications that you think that they are dead in your mobile device, regardless of what you do. And that has been proven actually with one movie that I want to highlight that people must watch, Snowden, right? I don't know if you remember Snowden.
No.
Snowden, the Russian, the American intelligence.
Yes.
Right? He flown to Russia.
Yes.
And actually, it was very, very fascinating that we've seen the person on the screen speaking about data privacy in Web Summit in Portugal in 2020 or 21, I can't remember. And he could not fly to Portugal because he is still under the umbrella of like wanted. Because he exposed a lot of information about what you can do from a cybersecurity today, like a cyber network, to go and start, phishing information about people. So that takes us back to the point where this device is listening to you all the time, knowing what you're doing all the time. So for advertising perspective, let's go back one step for the websites, right? Websites is all about cookie, which is like it's a kind of code that tracks what are you seeing on the online, what websites you're interested in, right? And then you go to the social channels. If you like a Barcelona, for example, or the Real Madrid video about football, or you follow a football page or whatever, this like you're gonna be immediately considered as someone interested in sports and someone interested in football, right? So someone interested in football might be great. It ticks the box because you like the Real Madrid, you are a Real Madrid fan, so you technically like football. But you might not be interested in sports because football is not all sports, right? So that's where we came up with the idea of location perspective. Today, if I'm Ihab, I come to my office in the morning, I pass by Starbucks, I buy my coffee. At lunchtime, I go have lunch in my preferred restaurants around JBR. I come back to the office at nighttime, 7. I take my car, I drive to the gym. And then I finish my gym, I go home, right? In the weekends, I go to the beach, I go to Al Qudra, I cycle, and then I play volleyball, right? My phone is with me all the time. And you know, if you ask someone about their best friend today, it's your phone. You take your phone sometimes to your washroom, you sit there and you start, consuming content. So you take it with you all the time, everywhere, right? So when your phone is emitting locations, now as a location intelligence company, I know that device X has been in this area in Media City. I've been in Starbucks in the morning at that time. I've been in the gym every day for 5 days a week. Logic sense from a human being, that person is going to that gym every single day. He's someone into fitness.
Yeah.
So if I have someone similar to Nike, right? I'm a sports person. I like to go gym, right? Nike has a new launch for CrossFit shoes, or like a new outfits, the new collection for the gym workout. What would make better sense? Going to Facebook and selecting people interested in sports, or going to a company that tells you, we know that they're interested in sports, but we've seen them in the gym 5 times a week for the past 1 month.
Yeah.
Obviously, from a location perspective, they're training, they're working out. That's the kind of customers I want to target for a brand similar to Nike.
Yeah, you're laser targeting basically
100%.
Based on an activity of that individual.
100%, and that's why it's beneficial for me as well as a consumer.
Yeah.
Today, instead of going and sending me an outfit for boxing where I don't really box, you're sending me outfits for working out, and because you know that I'm lifting, you're sending me a kind of a gym cloth and the shoes that it's
the launch of the latest shoes for the gym.
for the lifting.
Yeah.
Great, that's what I want to see, and that's why we're helping brands and people to be targeted perfectly, and then at the same time the brands to be laser targeting people to bring the benefits for the brand, stop the spillover on consumers that they will not convert. And it's the same thing for the people. Like, I don't want to see ads that I will not be able, I don't want to click, and it's disturbing. Yeah, it's really disturbing. So that's why we come from a location perspective. That's why we tell the people, they might be interested in football, but they don't move. So why you want to target them with ads that for people who moves? And that's what brings you to the zero-party data, because now we spoke about 2 aspects. I'm a consumer. I'm happy with receiving ads that they resonate with me and my needs and my interest. And for the brands, I'm reaching out to the people that they might convert for me.
Yeah.
But now you want to go speak about the zero-party data, okay? And what is it more for the people?
Yeah.
Right?